that now. Nah, I'll do it later. See, I gotta fix the countdown, Chris. So it's 15, but I figured it out. It's on my other shows. I just never put it over here. I'll do it though. So we're a little off, y'all. But in 3 minutes, we are live. We are live. We got some wonderful guests in the back. They're chilling in the green room. Where else can you ask a black man anything? And we mean anything. There is nothing off limits. We don't do taboo over here. No. Oh.
I think I'm supposed to say "oh" or something like that.
Oh.
Excuse me. I think I might have like 4 guests.
Dornisha is here.
That's one.
Evelyn is here.
That's 2.
We're jumping right into it. Where's the fellas at? You know, Wes was here, but then he left. Shaheed, normally here.
Shaheed on the flight.
Oh, that's right. He did tell us that he wasn't going to be able to make it. All right. You know, Chris, we can answer all the questions, just me and you. We got all the answers anyway.
I can pull out the blue lightsaber and be West for a night.
Don't you dare!
Because you a whole woman, and
don't you dare!
You a whole person, and we gotta respect you, lady. I mean, we do have to respect you, though. Like, good God. I always keep my truth, man. Always. Speak my truth. Let my truth. Is it on the right? You know what? Oh, there it is. There it is. There we go. There we go. Let's change that. Oh.
Hold on. Let me fix this.
Fix it, Jesus.
Lord.
Good looking guy.
Thank you, sir. I know you're talking about me.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I got a buddy that is a clothing designer. West is like 3 weeks in a row.
No, something going on, man. Something is Mercury in retrograde. What's going on?
Something. No, Mercury was in retrograde like 3 weeks ago.
Okay,
heard
so
about
that's
it.
why. Oh, because we out of retrograde is why West is acting right. Okay.
I mean, he even wanted to join the dark side. I'm like, Wes, are you okay?
He do that shit. And that shit don't last. It never lasts longer than 3 weeks.
Nah, I mean, he'll be out here like this. Don't save him. He don't want to be saved. Don't save him. He don't want to be saved. How's Wes's audio? Let's discuss that.
You know what's name bought a mic?
Robert?
Yeah. Robert invested in his audio equipment, and now he sounds.
Well, he just moved out to Cali, so that might be an expensive move. I mean, he moved from Bakersfield to LA, so that might have been a big move. So maybe financially he had to get settled in.
It wasn't about money. He got bread. He just is lazy. Common denominator amongst a lot of our brothers. Lazy.
Well,
easy. Fix that though. Anyways, we back, y'all.
My light don't look right tonight.
Why? It looks perfect.
It just looked different to me. Like I got a little shade over here, but it's fine. Nah, this is shady.
Morehouse. You switched Morehouse. Okay. Let me guess. Whenever you represent Morehouse, Spelman ain't far behind. Whenever you represent Morehouse, Spelman is not far behind.
Is one of my guests wearing a Spellman shirt?
No, I'm just no, nah. I'm just thinking like every time you mention Morehouse, Spelman ain't far behind.
Well, in light of our homecoming being next week, I feel like I should just wear my paraphernalia, this week to represent dear old Morehouse.
You know one
We
thing.
have pledged our lives to thee.
So I went to a PWI. I went to
We can
Cal,
tell.
of course, right? I'm square, super square Shan. I went to Cal State Long Beach. Right now,
Square
I
bills.
when I was in, I did college. I mean, I did some junior college before I went to the army. And when I got out of the army, I went to LAVC. Did I go to? I did. Right when I graduated high school. I graduated high school at 16, and then I
Nice.
turned 17 that summer, and then that next year, I went to Cal Poly Pomona. So I was in the dorms at 17. Then I left there, drove school buses, went to the army, fought for the country, blah 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 blah. Ended up at Cal State Long Beach. I was always asked, should you go to a? Don't you want to go to a HBCU? Get the black experience. Get the black experience. And I was like, I don't want the black experience. I'm from LA, right? I got enough black experience right here in South Central and shit. But one thing I will have to say that I think I do regret. I think I regret is that because understand I own BurningSands.com, which is the number one Greek paraphernalia website in the world, right? And then I also used to own Kazodius and Pledge Park, which was Greek sites, right, before Facebook and all that. One thing that I think that I do, if I had to have any regrets, it's this homecoming thing that you guys do.
Aha!
I don't know nothing.
Indeed.
I don't know nothing about homecoming. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know why my customers at Bernie be so excited about the shit. I don't know why. I didn't even know. I don't know why it's a fucking season. What is it about quote unquote homecoming at HBCU?
Homecoming is a season. Yes, it's a season. It starts in October. So first, who is Miss Timo 99? Put your name in the chat so I can know who my Spellman sister is. That's number one. I know who that is. You didn't even gotta tell me. I know who that is. What's up? Hey sis. First of all, thank you for I am like super ready. Okay, so homecoming is the game where all of the alumni and alumni in the sense of an HBCU is typically anybody who attended the school for at least a semester. Like you got one semester under your belt, you good. I know T. That's why I said you good. Anyways, so homecoming is at least one semester, right? So you come back to school.
Wait, you saying as long as you're gone for one semester, you're authorized to experience it?
Not authorized, but because if you start your freshman year at an HBCU, your freshman semester at an HBCU, there's so much love and bonding in that first 4.5 months that you don't want to tear away from that. Like you want to be like entrenched in that environment, and you miss a lot of times those are your friends for the rest of your life. Like I can name the first few people that I met on campus. Ironically, I'll tell you this: the guy that's marrying my ex-wife, he was one of the very first group of people that I met on campus.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold.
We discussed that. We discussed that, man. We're not getting into that.
Did I hear you right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about.
There's a love that you have for your alma mater that is literally just unmatched, right? you love your brother and your sister and your fellow classmate so much because y'all been through this experience, especially like if you came through school like we did around late 90s where you couldn't register online and and you had to stand in line for hours to get your dorm, to get a key, to get a student ID, to get classes added, to get classes dropped. Those experiences are unmatched and you have a shared bond, kind of like a pledging experience, right?
Okay.
You bond with your pledge, your frat brothers or your sorority sisters, and you literally are just, you're together, right? um so imagine HBCU like a large fraternity. So I'll give you an example. And anybody from the Spell House, which is Morehouse and Spelman together. Now, don't ask me why Spellman's name is first and Morehouse's name is last. It really sounds bad with more man or or
Spellhouse.
more spell. So Spellhouse just sounds the best, right? It's spell, just drop off the man, house, drop off the more. So you put them together. But Spellhouse, if you ask anybody in the Spellhouse community, we can talk about each other, Morehouse and Spellman. But anybody outside of our community, you talk about us, believe me, we coming for your ass. Like, we are our own. All right, I'm gonna give you an example.
But there ain't
You
no.
ever been?
Listen, that sounds like some bullshit. Let me tell you why. Because
It's not.
why?
I'm telling
listen,
you.
it ain't like y'all like okay. If it in a fraternity or a sorority, the reason why the bonding is there because y'all went through a struggle together. Hey, no, what the fuck are you
I'm
struggling
telling
with?
you,
What
you go through a
did you
struggle
through with Spelman. What struggle did you go through with women at Spelman?
Man,
What?
I can't. You know how there's certain things you just can't tell me
Nah, that's some
because
bullshit. That's what y'all say. That's
you
the
pledged-
only answer y'all got. That's the only answer
Huh?
y'all got is, well, we can't tell everybody because there ain't nothing. So just make it seem like it's something. secret.
No, there is some stuff. I'm not putting it out there like that.
All right.
There's some stuff that you got to be off campus by 11:55.
You can't connect with Clark? How come you can't connect with Clark in Atlanta?
Well, I do. So there's a saying that I've been taught since I was a freshman. You marry Spelman, you get your girlfriend at Clark, and you have your concubine at Morris Brown. So,
wow.
Yeah, awesome.
that's just what they told me as a freshman, and it's been part of the legacy of Morehouse men ever. Like, you actually meet a woman you're given a woman. Like, they don't give you a Clark woman. Clark doesn't come over to us. They come and they like us because all fine women love Morehouse men. What is it? But you literally have an entire day dedicated to meeting a woman from Spelman. It's like they're just gifting you a woman. It's like, here she is, and it's fucking amazing.
It's like standard military issue.
No, it's just a little bit better. You know what I mean? Because see, if you can't marry or date your Spelman sister, the woman that you're given, she has friends.
What does that mean? You're given a woman.
What do you mean?
I like it, but what does it mean?
So
is there a catalog of women and shit? You get to
no.
Male,
so all of the enrollees for freshman year at Morehouse get an opportunity to meet, and you're matched with a woman at Spelman.
Is it like a party, a dance, like a
no?
Sadie
it's like
Hawkins
you literally
dance?
You go over this. All of the men go over to Spelman, and I think back when I did it, I think we were in the cafeteria, and they tell you who your Spelman sister is, where she's sitting. You meet, and then y'all talk, and then y'all kick it. Your Spelman sister.
So you don't get to pick.
The thing is, yeah, they give you one. But the thing is, before you get to that day, you already have like a few Spelman sisters. But even more importantly, outside of that, if you don't date and mess up the relationship with your Spelman sister, she has friends. And if you treat her well, she'll tell you about her friends. And ta-da! Life is great.
What if you don't like your Spelman? What if you don't like your Spelman sister? Can you trade her in for another one?
Oh, you already have plenty of Spelman sisters before you actually get to the ceremony. So I don't know what the ceremony is now because I'm 25 years removed from 97, the first year on campus. But yeah,
Okay.
it's I think absolutely they still do it in 2022. They give you are given a Spelman sister. You're gifted a woman, and it's just like one of the best.
No, I'm just saying.
Anyways,
Can you keep your receipt and then take it back and trade it in and
no,
exchange it for?
no. You keep her and then you just get another one. Like
Oh,
anybody who you don't like marry, and y'all just like are platonic friends. That's your Spelman sister.
Okay, so here's the question. Here's the question. Where's your Spelman sister at today? 25 years ago.
She's actually in Douglasville, Georgia, about an hour away with her boyfriend. They live together. That's one of them. Another one is married. She is running for the superintendent for the state of Georgia. That's another one of my Spelman sisters. I got plenty. Actually, Talitha is my Spelman sister. I have a lot. I don't just have one.
Get to claim. You don't just get to claim them, Chris, because they went to Spelman.
No. See, here's the thing. Once you're finished with school, everybody who you're not dating, they're your Spelman sister, like unless you're going to date them. So that's
no. I'm talking about the standard issue.
The one that I got, I don't like the one that I issued that was issued to me. I don't remember her name because I was young and stupid. I didn't pay attention to that.
You ain't
the ones that I remembered were the ones that I just named. Alicia, who's running for the superintendent for the state of Georgia, and a couple of others. But we're not going to get, Talitha's in the comments. Anyways, welcome everybody to Ask a Black Man Anything, because this is the Morehouse edition. Homecoming is Sharon want a refund, but I can promise you at 18, you will never be disappointed. I promise. You will not be disappointed. They have some of the best looking women that are smart and are ready to mingle and connect. And then
stop the cap.
Hilarious. And here's the other part. A lot of freshman women that go to Spelman, their parents kept them in like the private schools and on lockdown. So when they get to school and their parents leave after that Sunday, they're ready to, dive in with all of their freedoms. I'll say it that way.
All right. I can dig it.
Anyway, we got guests already fired up. Bring them on before I get myself in trouble.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Where are my controls?
So homecoming is basically the football game where all of the alumni return to school and most of us just do tailgating. We don't go to the football game. Some people actually go to the football game if you're like an older alumni, but most people just go and tailgate. They drink, they eat, we laugh, we joke, we have fun. Imagine a family reunion, a barbecue, and whatever like spades game or bones game that you like to play. All of that mixed in one with food and drinking and laughter. So that's homecoming. It's absolutely fantastic. And one day you should come to Atlanta and experience the Spellhouse Homecoming. You're life-changing. Absolutely. Life-changing.
All right.
Anyways, welcome everybody to Ask a Black Man Anything, along with my lovely hosts, these great gentlemen. I'm Chris Davis in Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Buffalo, New York. Thank you all for joining us. I see 3 ladies, but I don't have any names. So, Mr. Producer, can you help me out? Give us some names so I can, okay. Dornisha, like the girl that I never
I was at the same song that was in my head.
And I bet she's been hearing that ever since that song came out.
Right.
She is
okay.
Hearing I say that.
Let's do it this way. Ma'am in the yellow shirt, is it yellow or orange?
It's yellow.
Okay, what's your name?
I'm Rebel, everybody. How are you?
You sound like a rebel.
Yeah. She didn't even answer that question like she wasn't a rebel. She was rebellious with the answer to the color of her.
Right.
Hey.
Hey, Rebel. And Evelyn and Denise
tonight.
And you know what's crazy, Shan? Right here are the two lifesavers. The captains, the captain and the co-captain save them. Anyways, I'm not sure who was first, but let's go. Was Dornisha first, Shan?
Yep, Dornisha was. That's why she's
Okay.
on the big screen.
Perfect. Ladies, if you're not talking, do me a huge favor. Can you mute your mics for a quick second? If you're watching online on a separate computer, just make sure you mute that audio on the YouTube channel. If you're not currently subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to Ask a Black Man Anything on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Thank you all so much for being here. Dornisha, welcome to Ask a Black Man Anything. I'll give you a little leeway since you have, I'm sure you're new to the show. How our show works is you literally can ask us any question. The way that we actually prefer it is that you ask us the question first. My question is, and then if we need some more context, we'll ask you some filler questions, right? We're non-attacking, except Wes right here. He's an attacker. So you want to know who's the attacker? That's he's
Just know that it's the opposite of whatever you're hearing right now.
Anyway, Dornisha, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a small introduction, and then what question do you have for us tonight?
Hi, everyone. I'm Dornisha. I don't know what to say about myself. I live in Griffin, been in Atlanta area for the past 9 years. I'm in the nonprofit arena. Have one child.
By way of where? If you've been there 9 years, where'd you come from?
I'm originally from a small town in South Carolina called McCormick.
Is that where they make the biscuits?
No.
That's a
And they
legitimate
don't
question.
make the seasoning either. They don't make the seasoning either.
So
You knew that was
Dornisha,
gonna be my next question.
why did you leave a small town that everybody knew you to go to Atlanta, of all places?
Cheers.
Just different job opportunities, more opportunities. I went to the University of South Carolina. In
Is
Columbia.
Is that a HBCU?
It's
Okay.
not. So better job opportunities. When I initially finished college, I did go to Asheville, North Carolina for a short period of time because that's where my parents are and siblings, but just needed more opportunities. So I found a job in Atlanta. It was between Atlanta or Charlotte. I applied for jobs in both areas. Atlanta, I got the most hits.
Now, but if you're from McCormick, how's your parents somewhere else?
They moved there.
So is McCormick is that the city? Is that one of those cities like everybody's like, I got to get the hell out of here?
Yeah, because it's like 2 stoplights. It's 2 stoplights and nothing's there. You got a
2 stoplights and 1 bar. I got you.
That's it.
All right.
This is my first time on the show. Great. I have subscribed and I will be following and watching from here on out. My question is.
That's fantastic. We've been doing this for like a year and a half now, so you got a whole lot of shows to catch up on.
You will be entertained.
Just kidding. Go ahead. What's your question?
My question is, why is it so hard for a Black man to express his feelings?
Ooh, can I go first? Yes, I'll nominate me. Okay, so initially, because this was me, right? I didn't know how to express my feelings. So first of all, great, absolutely amazing question for it to be its first question, right? And when I answer this, it's not all Black men, right? Because as Wes will always say, Black men are not a monolith. That's like one of his favorite sayings, right? I can quote Wes like none other. I study people, right? So first, we were never actually taught as children how to express ourselves. And so a lot of the conversations that you hear now where people are saying men are misogynistic, men are rude, men don't know how to talk, men don't know how to do this, don't know how to do that, is because we're actually hearing in our purview that we need to express ourselves. And so we're in like a learning phase. So if you can imagine like a baby learning to walk. Some men, not all, some men are in infantile phases in learning how to express themselves. That's number one. Number two is a lot of times I'm going to take a limb, go out on a limb and say when a lot of men express ourselves, that thing that we express is brought back to us in one or two ways. One, the woman that we express it to, and I'm guessing that you mean from man to woman, right? Perfect. I got you. I saw you shake your head. So typically what has happened in the past is that a man will express himself and then the woman will take that and use that against us. And so let's say I say, it really hurt me when, you blah, 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 ABC. Oh, well, you ain't no man if that just hurt your feelings. Or your poor little feelings is hurt. So, and I don't like to quote certain people because he's a very polarizing character. But Kevin Samuel said that some people, and I never heard about it before I heard him, right? And I don't follow him. I don't, God rest his soul. I wasn't an avid Kevin Samuels follower or anything like that. But I heard about this from someone that follows him. Some people speak in sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. And so when men try to express ourselves, we're either shamed for our feelings, we're either insulted, oh, you ain't no man, or you a little bitch, or you crying, like as if we're supposed to not have feelings, right? You want us, meaning not you, but women, the universal you, want us to express ourselves. But when we begin, oh, that's how you feel? And it's like, well, damn. Are you going to give me the space to express myself? I'm trying to, or are you going to like take what I say and just cut my head off? Another thing that happens, this is the last thing that I'll say, and I'll turn it to the other fellas, is that in the middle of expressing ourselves, some women, not all, some women will only listen to respond. Let me rephrase. We'll only listen to react because I believe there's a difference between responding and reacting. Reacting is, I heard what you said, I got a fast retort. I'm going to give you something sassy, or I'm going to give you something snappy, or whatever the case is. I'm not really listening to hear how you feel, because the truth is, some don't even care how we feel. Some women say, we want you all to express yourself, but when we do, it's just like cut our heads off. And so what we've learned to do, because men automatically give protection, one of the things that we do by nature is we end up protecting ourselves. And so when we protect ourselves, we shut it off. Because now you can't hurt me in that way. Now you can't stab me and make me bleed even more. Because some men are trying to be vulnerable, and when some women cut off the head of a man being vulnerable, it turns into F-boys. It turns into a fuckboy. It turns into a savage. It turns him into plenty of things that you see in today's society, but that's because of the hurt that he's felt. Now, that's not an excuse. It's the reason, and there does need to be some healing and some help behind that, but that's just what happens, right? If that makes sense. I'll turn it over to the other fellas who want to chime in.
So, Chris, if I may, to your first point, and you're absolutely correct. But I think the thing in these conversations that gets missed is the accountability of us as men to our own detriment when it comes to being able to share our emotions. Because just like you're correct about what the feedback that we might get from women that that might be negative, we do it to ourselves as well. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but with men, when we emote, when we share, we call each other a punk or a simp or whatever it might be. We do it here on this stage, and so there's an accountability that we as men we've got to take. So at some point we've got to forget about women and what it is that they're doing that's not allowing us to emote and to express ourselves, and just start doing it anyway. Especially if we say we're men and we're going to do what we want to do, then we need to normalize that and normalize it amongst one another, so that and help facilitate that with our brothers. And once we do that, the women will have no choice but to follow along, because amongst us, once we're all allowing ourselves to be expressive and each other to be expressive, it's going to be the norm, and that's just what a woman is going to receive when she receives a man. Part of the normalcy of a man is now going to be him being expressive and him being able to show his emotions, him being able to cry, all of those things. So I just say that there's a responsibility on our part. I agree with you though, brother.
And you don't think men do that, Wes?
Oh no, listen.
By and large, you don't
course.
think men do that?
By and large, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's the reason why we have words like simp, why we call guys punks, why we say that women won't let us cry. But what do we tell men all the time? Even our kids, our little boys, when they're growing up, we tell them, don't cry, suck it up. And we know we do that because of that's what the world says, but we're perpetuating it. And like I said, to my point, which came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. But at some point, if we got to take responsibility and cut it off and start a new trend ourselves, regardless of what society or what women may do.
So, Wes, I agree with you that we do have to take responsibility, right? And that's the second part of the question, right? What's the part that we need to take? But for her, she wants to know, well, why don't you express yourself, Wes? Robert, Shahid's not here. Jerron, why is it hard in your experience, what have you learned from other black men in reference to them not wanting to express themselves? What have you learned as to why it is difficult? Wes?
Yeah, no, I've learned exactly what you learned, what you're speaking to, and that's the part that gets spoken about. But the reality of it is that the other part of it is, because when women respond a certain way to us being emotional, for instance, or sharing our emotions. I don't want to say emotional like we're being erratic or something, but just sharing our emotions. Chances are she's experienced that before, and so we're just getting a bit more of whatever maybe the last man got when it came to him sharing her emotions and the way that she reacted to him. She's doing the same to us. So my point still is that once we normalize it with ourselves, the part that doesn't get shared is that, we have a responsibility as men too, to allow each other to be expressive in our own spaces, to be emotional in our own spaces. And we, by and large, we don't. That's a fact. That's why the stereotypes are there. That's why we're having these conversations, is because we know men being emotional is something that's finally starting to come to the forefront and being a conversation and a discussion.
Okay.
Where's the lie?
I'll jump in. I see Shan's mind look like it's ticking right now.
Yeah,
so
I see Shan over there.
He done came out early, Shan.
Yeah.
It's true.
I'm gonna let this.
That's not saving women. I'm trying to save men. I'm trying to save us.
Wes.
Continue, Rob.
Yeah. I'm going to relate it more so to me and just reply how the things that I thought of. So with me, I was married before, once married, once divorced, right? I was expressing myself. I came out expressing myself. At that time, I didn't have the maturity nor the language to express myself effectively in a language that she would understand. So what ended up happening is I was saying things that were hurtful. And to me, it was not even, it wasn't even known to me that I was actually hurting this woman with the things that I said. And her response was quietness. We didn't have many conversations. And that's led me to believe at a time that me expressing myself wasn't going to get me anywhere. I tried that again with the next relationship. expressing myself and letting people know what it is that's going on in my mind and how I'm thinking. And it's sometimes met with frustration, or the conversation revolving around it ends up frustrating me as well, where I'm asking for a certain understanding. I'm saying this is what is working for me. Isn't what's working for me. Where can we meet at? And our conversations are met with some of the back and forthness that Chris was talking about, where you're listening for a response or listening to you can get a reaction versus actually trying to understand what it is that the man is trying to say. That frustration, I'm for one, am one that doesn't like redundance. So I don't want to have the same conversation revolving around the same point. We're arguing over the same little thing that we both have an understanding on, but because neither one of us say that I understand your viewpoint, or maybe I say I understand your viewpoint and you never understand my viewpoint, but you keep reiterating your own viewpoint, it becomes a source of frustration. So at that point, I don't want to talk anymore. And it feels like every now and then when a man decides to express himself and let people in on what his emotions, especially his woman, sometimes his emotions are not considered whenever it affects her, whenever her emotions are triggered, whenever she's in her emotions. Y'all don't care about what it is that we going through because your emotions are more important than ours. And that is another situation that would definitely shut a man down. If I'm talking to you and I don't feel heard, I don't feel like you've listened to what I've expressed, I don't feel considered, then what's the point of me talking to you moving forward? If I'm talking to you and your response is some extreme where you no longer want the relationship, even though you know damn well you'll be back tomorrow, even though you know damn well you'll be back in an hour, but for that moment, you're like, fuck this, I don't want this relationship, I'm done. Why would I express myself to have to go through that over and over and over again? Sometimes it's easier just to shut up and say, you know what, I'm gonna handle it on my own and on my own inside. A lot of men will shut down for that. Another thing that I wrote down is there's sometimes we express things that we are shameful of. This happens a lot in relationships where there is some sort of, egregious act towards the other person, something that a man does or a woman does that has brought shame into the relationship, or brought guilt into the relationship. And those are hard things to express. And then if it's not met with an understanding mind, or a mind that's trying to progress, then that's another reason for somebody to shut down. Nobody wants to talk about their shameful acts. Nobody wants to. All of us up on this stage, we've probably done some things that we're ashamed of, and we may talk about it from time to time, but I bet there's some things that we ain't even said here. The last thing I was going to say is, I think a lot of times when we get this question asked, I wonder if women are really ready to accept a man being emotional. What I mean by that is how Chris was saying earlier, that we'll get the response that, you're too sensitive, or, it shouldn't, I didn't mean it like that. It shouldn't affect you like that. I'm telling you how it affected me. But your response is, it should not have affected you like that. I didn't mean it like that, but it did. Instead of understanding, what I said, I didn't mean to affect you like that, and I understand that what I said affected you, and I apologize for that. And then continuing on, just trying to find a better way to communicate. I got to the point now where it's like, if you tell me I'm sensitive, I'm like, well, shit, treat me accordingly. You tell me that, I'm too aggressive, well, treat me accordingly. You know what it is now. So my question is, for women to think about and not to answer right now is, when a man is emotional with you, are you really ready to allow him to be emotional and still look at him as the leader of your household? Still look at him as strong. Still look at him as, as that dude you were looking at him as whenever he wasn't showing emotions, whenever you just saw him as this hard dude that was going to be your protector. What are you really ready for? I'm going to drop it right there.
So I'm going to go and get in here. I'm going to say as much as you did, of course. But so I am a therapist on the show. So I do work with veterans and women and men. So, I have a good grasp on what other men are saying when it comes to them not expressing themselves. And when you decide to come to therapy, I think somebody said it in the comments, Black men and Black women should consider therapy at some point in their lives. When you break down and you do come to therapy, at that point in time, you made yourself vulnerable to expressing what's going on in your life. You made yourself make that a priority in your life, where you're going to come and talk to somebody that, that somebody that's non-judgmental, that may not know you, that you feel like you can express yourself with. And so what a lot of men tell me, and men and women too, but a lot of men tell me that one of the reasons why they feel like it's so hard for them to express themselves is because there are no spaces for them to express themselves, or there are no spaces where they feel comfortable with. And so, as a man, we have to feel comfortable when it comes to expressing ourselves, or we have to feel like the space is secure, and that the space that we're in is a space that we feel like we can be vulnerable enough and let our guard down and share what's going on. And every situation that presents itself is not that type of situation. And I even say, even in relationships or in home where people are married, some places like that are still not safe spaces because so many men worry about what they're sharing. Is it going back being said to other people? We've all heard the saying called pillow talk, where you may be laying down and you may be, just having conversation. But some of those things that we're sharing in private spaces, they're not staying behind closed doors. They're going outside of the bedroom or going outside the house, and they're going to different people. And so a lot of those particular spaces, it just doesn't feel like we have those specific spaces to be able to share our emotions and share what's going on with us. I do a recovery group at my job where I work with veterans that are in recovery from substance abuse issues. And one thing that they always talk about is, well, we get to do this group every single week. And when we're doing this group, I get to be around other veterans. And these people understand me, or they understand what I'm going through. They get it because they've been through the same thing that I've been through. Whereas somebody that's just a normal civilian, they wouldn't understand for sure because they haven't gone through what that veteran population has gone through. But one thing that they always share is that I know we can come in this particular space and we can be ourselves. And so many men are not allowed to be themselves because there are women out here that have this specific type of image that they think a man should be, where a man is supposed to be tough, a man should be, the head of the household, a man should protect the family, a man should do this and do that. So many people have this old school mentality where a man is not supposed to cry, or a man is not supposed to be in tune with their emotional side. And so a lot of men put on this false image to portray themselves as being the strong person, but behind closed doors, internally they're breaking down because they can't share the things that they're going through. Because if I share what's really going on in my life, then this woman or my wife or my significant other, she gonna think, I think like Wes said, she's gonna think I'm a simp, or she's gonna think this is what's going on. And so if I'm not able to share what I'm going through, then, and if I don't feel comfortable sharing it, amongst my wife or my significant other, and I don't feel comfortable sharing it in these particular spaces, then where am I going to share it at? So I think not having those specific type of safe spaces and secure spaces, and the type of image that a lot of women have portrayed on men to be this specific type of person, is the reason why a lot of Black men don't express their feelings and emotions. And I'll land with it right there.
Hey,
I did want to
Javon, I just
highlight.
want to,
My,
really quick before you go, Rob, I just want to piggyback on Javon super quick. And you're absolutely right. And so that is what I'm speaking to, where at some point, maybe it's incumbent upon us as men to start creating those safe spaces for us to have that dialogue. And the more that we do it amongst ourselves, because what happens is a woman sees an image of one man not crying, being, quote unquote strong, and then compares that to her man who might be emotional, sharing with her, not recognizing that the real nuance there is the fact that he's her man, and he feels he's at least hoping to feel comfortable enough and to trust her to share that. If he was out in the regular world, he would be like this other man. But if this other man and more of us men were just more expressive and emotional in the regular world, what she has to compare that to would be normal, because she now she's comparing him to, this particular guy here, he's cried, he's emoting, so to speak. And that's what I'm saying is, at some point we can either wait for women to as a whole give us the space, not that some women don't, or we can start to create those spaces for ourselves, and then women just have to get on board.
Wes,
Go ahead, Rob.
feel free to share your emotions with me.
I will. I'm
I'm
about to.
creating space for you, Wes.
I'm about to with one of my fingers.
See,
I don't like
you
how
see,
that
you see
sounds.
how you see
Yeah.
how men respond when
That didn't sound right.
when we create space for him. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just gonna highlight that something that Shahid had posted. It said, "Men don't trust everyone with their feelings like most women do." I think that is an actual thing. Like women expect us to express ourselves as often as you do, which is just something that won't happen. A woman will have a best friend on Monday and a new best friend on Wednesday and another best friend that's not even related to the first best friends on Thursday.
And talk
I
shit
have
about
two
every
best
one of
friends.
them.
And talk shit about every one of them, but then tell most of them just about all the other details that they shouldn't be telling them all their vulnerabilities, all their life, whose sex is good, so forth and so forth, setting up
Tell
traps
them
for
about
their
their
own selves.
man. And
I got two best friends. One of my best friends knows just about everything about me. Another one of my best friend only knows a lot. So there's like men, we don't express everything to every one of our good friends. All that to say, women just express themselves so much more and expect us to be at that same level, and that's just something y'all not gonna get.
It's on you, good sir.
Enlighten us, Lord Vader.
I already know what he's gonna say.
no, I ain't gonna, you know what? We don't always all have to speak.
He said so much in that. He said so much in that.
Listen, I want to tell y'all who are watching this show, whenever it comes to the F word, and I'm not talking about the one that ends in a K, whenever it comes to the feelings word, Shan is out. Just so you know. So, Dornisha, let me ask you a quick question. The information that you received, do you feel like you got some good feedback?
Yes, I do feel like I got some good feedback. It just made me think back to different situations. So yeah, great.
Dornisha, do you want a man? Do you want a man to express his feelings to you?
I do.
You do.
I actually do. I feel like I'm an active listener. I do good. The field I'm in, because it's nonprofit and it's mental health substance abuse. So I do it daily at work and deal with it. So,
But do you want your man your partner, your husband
yes, because
potentially?
I don't want to be guessing. I don't want to be guessing how you're feeling. Tell me, I want to make you feel like you're in a safe space and that you're comfortable and that you can come to me.
Okay, Darnisha, here's the next question. Here's a follow-up to that, which a lot of men complain about: button pushing. See, once he expresses that, he has an issue with something that's very, personal to him. Do you weaponize that, or do you have any history of weaponizing that in the past, and maybe you trying to be better?
My connection froze. I missed all of that.
I was asking you, okay, you want your man to open up and express himself to you because you don't want to guess. Well, are you there? Because you froze again. Uh-oh. See, God don't want her to hear this question.
Yes, he do. Yes, he do. Because you know what my question was? A lot of women ask for men to share their feelings. My question, and they want to make their man feel safe, right? But my question would have been, does she know how to create an environment of safety? Some women say they want thing A, but don't know how to provide the space for thing A to happen. But that's a whole nother subject. We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, man, there's so many things to that too. Go ahead. I know we're trying to move.
What we're going to do is when Dornisha comes back, let's bring in who is next, Evelyn or Rebel?
Evelyn.
Okay, Evelyn. Good evening. Did Rebel drop out?
No, Rebel's here. Well, no, she did drop out, but she'll probably get back.
Okay,
I'm here.
Good evening.
I can hear y'all.
Dornisha, is that Dornisha?
No, I'm sorry. Evelyn is here. Rebel dropped out. Oh no, Rebel is right here. Never mind. All right, keep going, y'all. I got her. I got it right here. I had to find her.
All right, that's the wrong. You
Yeah,
got Darnisha in the middle.
I got it. Go ahead and continue.
Name's wrong. Okay, good. All right, so I don't forgot her name already. I'm sorry. With the glasses
Darnisha
on.
is back if we want to finish that. Yeah, Darnisha.
Evelyn, there we go. Evelyn, good evening. Welcome to Ask a Black Man Anything. Thank you so much for joining. You've kind of heard the format. Give us a little bit of information about yourself. Tell us, where you're from and all that good stuff. And then ask us, what question do you have for us?
Okay, hi, good evening. My name is Evelyn. I am from South Georgia, which is Valdosta. I've been here almost 20 years or so.
In Valdosta?
Wow. No, here in Atlanta.
Oh, you're in Atlanta. Okay.
I have 2 kids, 2 grown kids. So the question I have several questions, but I'm just going to stick to one question. So I have dated in the past, like using the format of dating online. And I'm always like, I'll get to the first day and everything's fine. And next thing you know, I'm in the friend zone. Oh, you a cool chick. Dang, you real cool. And then they'll call back later. Dang. I should have listened to I should have, pursue you a little bit more and see what you was all about. So I don't understand, like, what is it? Like, what? I don't know if I'm saying something wrong or not saying nothing at all. I mean, I don't know.
So, Shan, do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll take a stab at it, but I'm going to also ask you some context questions.
Okay.
Do you say things like, hey, buddy? Do you say things like, do you give short answers?
Call him bro? Do you call him bro?
Do you, and these are yes or no, right? Do you also say things like, I don't want to talk about sex too fast, too soon?
I say that. I don't want to talk about sex too fast, too soon. I do say that.
Okay. Have you ever talked about the weather?
You talk about the weather? Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever talked about what you do for a living?
Now, if I do say what I do for a living, they do ask, and I hate that. Like, when you're trying to meet somebody, don't ask me what I'm do for a living. I don't say customer service.
Okay.
I really say that, and I do, customer service, but it's not the exact thing that I do.
Okay. So here's where I'm going with, because I want to put sex in the frame of those things. Sex is just another subject to talk about. Some people in the dating space, they make it so taboo to talk about sex. Eventually, you want to have sex, right?
Yes.
So it shouldn't be this, no, don't talk about it. And I'm not saying go all into grave detail, but, we could approach the subject and then get off of it. But here's to your real question, right? Which is why you've been friend zoned. You probably are giving off friend vibes. You're probably not learning how to do a few things. And I don't know, but these would be my tips for you. And you can tell me if you're doing these things. You're probably not flirting, right? You're probably not creating witty banter, and you're probably not creating a sexual tension. And what I mean by the last one is a way for him to know that you're physically attracted to him, so that there is a physical attraction, right? And I'm not saying give it up on the first day. If you choose to, that's what you choose to do, right? But create a tension of attraction. If you're only having platonic conversations and talking about, like, the weather, what I do for a living, how was your day? If those are your conversations, you're boring. Not you, the universal you. That person that doesn't create a dialogue is boring, and then you get friend zoned. And then it's like, okay, well, either I'm just going to have sex with you, or I'm going to leave you alone, right? Because you may come off like a good girl, and that may be cool, but you don't want to be friend zone. So it's not necessarily the guys. And a lot of times what I've learned is in this space, and I've been kind of in the dating relationship coaching kind of space a little bit here. A lot of people will blame the other person and never take responsibility for the things they do themselves. So you have to ask yourselves, what patterns have I created in conversation that lead to people friend zoning me? And then when you notice those patterns, you have to break them and do the opposite and create new habits. And that should help. But I'll land there and let one of the other guys take it.
I like what Chris touched on. And you know, talking about sexual stuff is kind of like not too fast, too soon, and I get that. I get that whole dynamic, but I think the area that Chris is touching on is creating that want of desire in all aspects, not just, you know, with sex, with romanticism. You can create an area where a man just feels like, damn, I just want to give this woman all the romantic things that I know how to do: adventurism, fun, freedom of expression, freaking artfulness, just things that would intrigue a person's mind, keeps you out of being out of the relationship potential. To me, yeah, you want to have a friendship. You want to show that you can be a friend, but you also want to show that you're attractive and that you're attracted to him and that you can keep his mind intrigued. So what Chris is touching on with the sexual thing, yeah, you can talk about sex without having sex with somebody. You can talk about your sexual desires without having sex with somebody. What that does is it plants a seed inside of their head that creates that desire. How do they get there? They got to go through all the rest of the steps to figure out what it is that you want and what makes you feel loved. In that process, they do a lot of learning you. And at the same time, you get to learn them. And if you're really paying attention, you'll figure out whether it is that they just want sex from you or if they're actually looking for a relationship. You do got to watch for people who know how to play that role, though. So that's my thought on that. Nobody
Man,
else?
quiet,
Damn.
man.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing that comes to my mind is, man, about 20 years ago, could have been more, maybe more. Yeah, it was this chick I met in Valdosta. Oh my God, oh my God. Evelyn, is that you? It's been a long time, but is that you, baby? My glass is not that good, but no, seriously though, I got a smiling though. Hey, we halfway there. I am curious though. What, you know, you mentioned that you don't really go into what you do, and I understand. We all have our reasons for that. But what is it that you talk about? That's what I'm curious about. What's the normal kind of course of or process of your conversation and of those dates before this friend zoning or ghosting or whatever might happen before that happens? Like, what are you having the conversation about? We can't talk about sex. We can't talk about your job, which may be, if you're passionate about it, then you're hiding the things that you're passionate about. So, because usually when we start to talk about the things we're passionate about, they lead to other conversations, and that's when we light up. That's when we start to smile, and people see a little spark in us, whatever the case is. So if we're staying away from those things, the things that are real in your life, then what are we talking about? And so that's what I'm curious. That's an actual question. I'm wondering what are the things that you're talking about?
Okay. So when I do, like I said, go on these dates, they do ask those questions. Like, oh, they may say, okay, what you do? And then eventually I say, okay, I work in a doctor's office, which is a dental field. But then it goes on to be like, okay, why are you working there? And you don't want to do anything else. And I was like, and I get that a lot. And or we had different conversations. Like, we have talked about sex, but I just feel like when you first meeting somebody and you talking to them one-on-one, when you first meeting somebody, you shouldn't have to talk about sex like that. Do I like sex?
Yeah,
do I want to talk about it? No.
But look, let me actually. I heard something that you said, and I'm really big on this. I really like to listen to not only what people are saying, but how they're saying it. And you mentioned, about your job, and you're like, you said, well, why they do it? Why you doing that? Or however you said it. I doubt that a grown man, is saying it with that inflection, which shows me that you still have this aversion to. I'm sure he may be inquiring about the job further, but it seems like it's such a dirty thing for you personally, internally, that you're receiving it. Like the way that you're giving it to us now is how you're receiving it from him, but can't possibly be how he's delivering it. And there's something there. You have this frustration that I for you to just think about and get to
It's
the
definitely
heart
coming
of,
on.
because it sounds like you're not enjoying the process.
you
Go
do.
ahead. Who was that?
No, I was
Say, Rob?
saying it's definitely coming off like you're frustrated with the process. Like, I ain't got a
Right.
relationship yet, so stop asking me all these questions, and not just having fun, letting people enjoy you. Like, and what I found, and this is the honest to God truth,
But
because I've been dating.
let Wes finish landing. He didn't
I'm
pass
Well,
it.
I was done. It was. I think it was. Did I ask a question at the end? I don't forget what I asked.
No. You were in the middle of your sentence, but Chris was affirming what you had said.
Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that.
All right,
Now
go ahead,
I'm gonna
Chris.
do it, Rob.
The
Go ahead.
50 Up Club, he forgot.
Indeed.
What I found a lot of times is that some people have no idea who they are. They also don't know what they want. So because they don't know what they want and they don't know who they are, they don't know how to express themselves. And so their conversation is very mundane. It's very routine. So now you get into let me ask my list of questions. And let me ask you this question. Do you have questions, premeditated questions that you ask, or do you create conversation?
I don't have questions. I have written down like in my head. No, I don't have questions. I just talk normal in normal conversation, but
Okay.
I don't have
Can
like
you
a
do
list of things like, say, okay, do you do this, or what are we doing? What did you do today? Or I just talk normal, like we holding a normal conversation.
Can you read us one of your interactions with the guy from your dating profile that you didn't delete that turned into a friend zone?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't put me on the spot and embarrass me like that, man.
Right.
That's not embarrassing.
I don't mind at all. I don't
That's
mind.
not. See, there's a reason for that because there's a level of accountability that you have to give yourself. That when you're reading it and you're reading it out loud, you like, damn, I'm not really engaging in these conversations. So you can just give us a couple lines. You don't have to be the whole thing.
I understand. Oh, you talking about my profile or something? I really don't have a lot of stuff in my profile.
No, she's saying he's saying with
oh my God, that
one
answers
of your
everything.
I don't.
That answers everything. Right?
No, Chris, because she's not saying that she's having problems catching them, which is the profile issue. She's saying once she gets them, they out too fast.
No, so the two things are connected. If you have nothing in your profile, men are looking for ways to create conversation. Well, at least I am. I don't know about everybody else, but we're typically those who I run across, they look for things to create conversation. I'll tell you a profile that I ran across. Young lady said, for the things that you don't get on my profile, connecting with me in person will give you a greater sense of who I am, which said 1,000 things, right? So if you have nothing for me to go off of, I'm going to ask you, what do you do? Where are you from? I'm going to ask you all the basic questions. I have no way of trying to connect with you, and you're not helping. So you have to take a little bit of responsibility where, you have to give a little bit more, because it sounds like you're very military, very
monotone,
cut down, very straightforward, very hard. Like, I'm gonna give you this, and this is if I do A and this happens on B, then C is the result. Look at her face. Spot on. She like, how he get that? I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Like, If I do A, then B happens and C should happen. It don't work like that. You
But
are not
I
you're not
know.
experiencing these men, and the men are not experiencing you. Go ahead, Jerron.
I think that's the problem. You just described it. Like when I feel like you're dating somebody, or you're dating and trying to get to know people, it shouldn't be like a business meeting. So you going all dressed up and all this stuff, and it's kind of like y'all asking questions back and forth and going back and forth, and you sitting at the table like you're in an interview where you're trying to get a job or something like that. I feel like when you're dating, it should be more so like a vacation, and so you never know what you make. You're going on a vacation, you just never know what you may come in contact with. But you're open minded, you're optimistic, and you're presenting yourself in a positive way. And I think I think Chris just said it when he was talking about somebody's dating profile, and he was talking about how the lady said, "What you don't get here on the dating profile, you would get to see it in person and stuff like that." And so that
Mhm.
creates the illusion of, okay, well, I'm only getting so much here, so it's kind of like a tease. So everything I'm getting outside of this dating profile is kind of like an added extra bonus. And so as a man, it would put me in a mindset of like, okay, well, that makes me interested and I'm intrigued by what she's trying to give out. Because now I feel like, okay, the situation I'm going into is not so rigid or it's not so organized or detailed or to the key. And I feel like a lot of times when we go into situations and we think it needs to be this type of way, I'm expecting the conversation to go like this. If he doesn't present himself in this type of way or this right here, then I'm done with it, or I'm just killing it. And so a lot of times first impressions are everything. And so the first impression that we may be giving this specific type of guy, that can either kill it or that can either lead it to go further. So if you're going on these dates and the person's already getting a bad vibe, because I feel like she's too stuck. I'm not gonna say stuck up, but I feel like she's too serious, or she's not able to kind of let her guard down, or she's not able to kind of just let loose and have a good time. But she seems like she's so uptight and trying to worry about doing everything in the right way. Nah, I think we may just need to be friends. And they may not come out and tell you the true reason why they put you in the friend zone. But a lot of times it starts with that first initial date. Because if things are not going the way that, you proceed them to go on that specific date, nobody gonna want to go on a second date with you. So my suggestion is just loosen up some. You don't have to be so uptight or bottled up. Be able to let your hair down, have a good time, and be open to the possibility of things going further. But you have to present yourself in that type of way instead of just, going into the situation expecting A, B, C, D to happen in that specific order.
I do kind of have a question for Evelyn as well.
Yes.
Whenever you're having these conversations with these men, do you find yourself just excited with the conversation, or is it just like it's a boring conversation? Is it just like it's just another conversation that I have to go through? Like, how they ask you, what do you do? Do you just answer with, like I said earlier, a monotone type answer just because it's routine? Or do you find yourself excited to have the conversation?
Customer
It
service.
just it all depends on it all depends on who that individual is. Because sometimes I get excited talking to someone, and then it's like why am I
Well,
here?
hold on. I don't mean necessarily it's just the individual. I'm meaning the conversation in general. Like, is the conversation something that's exciting to you, even no matter who it is? If it's somebody that you're like, because obviously if you're attracted to somebody, you're gonna enjoy the conversation more because you're further attracted. But if it's somebody you're like, okay, I'm gonna give them a shot. Is your conversation basic, or is it still, enthusiastic? And the reason why I'm even asking you this is because the same experience that you're having is the experience the man is having. So if you're having a conversation where you find yourself being monotone, he's getting a monotone relationship. He's getting that damn Mr. Rogers relationship. You're being Mrs. Rogers, and you're trying to have a conversation and keep this guy intrigued, and he's like, shit, this is boring. It sounds like whenever somebody asks you what you do and you say customer service, or you say I work at a dental office, it sounds like you're not excited about it. It sounds like you're doing something that you don't want to do or you don't like doing, which is fine. A lot of people do that. But in turn, you could also say, you know what, but I really do like this. You can get into something that actually excites you. A lot of times, to me, we have our greatest experiences whenever somebody else enjoys the same experiences that we have, or it seems like somebody's enjoying talking to us. And if you're giving them answers and replies, that seems like you're not enjoying the conversation, or you're like, shit, I don't want to answer this. What joy is that going to give me? What joy? How is that going to make me want to come back and talk to you? All I know is I'm going to get a boring conversation.
Mm-hmm. I understand. I got you.
I have one question,
Hey, Evelyn.
which is two parts. Do you flirt and do you create witty banter?
I flirt a lot. I flirt a
Mm,
lot.
Hey, y'all getting that? Y'all getting that? She flirted a lot. Is that
mm.
what coming off of y'all?
I flirt a lot. I
Hell
know it
no. To the
listen,
Hell
no.
no to the no.
it may seem
And
like I'm
look,
Hell
this
to the no.
it's
uptight,
like a pattern, a
like in
routine.
a box person, but I actually do flirt. Like seriously, I do
I know you
flirt.
flirt, girl. I know you do. I know
So
you do.
That's what
so
I'm saying.
so
I
tell me
flirt.
something that you would say that's flirty to like tell me so
No,
cuz I'm going to tell you something. This is what I learned. Women think they're flirting with
no.
men, but they're actually not. Like I've seen, no lie, women say this is me
Mhm.
flirting. I'm like, the fuck is that? That's not a flirt.
You got to read her mind, man.
I
Like
You
mean,
look cute in those glasses, Evelyn. Mm-hmm.
you gonna make her
Damn,
blush,
Wes, break it
Wes.
You
down.
can run, but you can't hide.
you're so funny.
She don't even know what to do with
Give
you,
her a
Wes.
smile. Mm-hmm. She gonna learn today.
I know,
Hey,
right?
Wes, ask her your question though.
Damn, she ain't got no response, but she flirt. She ain't got no response for Wes. Just
Hey, Evelyn.
She lost.
Evelyn, I got a question for you, Evelyn. Do you like to
Yes.
mud wrestle?
Yes.
Oh, wait, hold up. I wasn't ready for that answer. My bad.
I like to do a lot of things. Let me tell you something. I'm not uptight
What?
like y'all think I am. I like to do a lot of things. A lot.
DB
Mm,
ain't
I
coming
may
now.
look like
well,
this, but I like to do a lot
a
of
lot of things.
Wes, I
So,
think you
so
need
look.
to
So check
discover
this out,
a
though.
lot of things.
Let me say this. Oh, go ahead. Would say, Shan?
No, I just said you need to discover her a lot of
Oh,
things. She telling you something.
so Evelyn. So here, let me say this. Like even just now in this little moment, um, there is a flirtiness I recognize about you. There's a sexiness that you're not displaying or whatever. That's at least in your mindset, right? And
hmm
so when you run from like, I have a funny feeling that because you don't want sex to be the topic of the day or the purpose of
Highlight.
the connection with someone, that you
hmm
run away from all potential uh banter that oftentimes leads sexual. And but it's there, it's in you, it's a part of you. You sound like you're someone who may actually be very sexual. What I've learned to do, and maybe there's something you can find here, is I've learned to
Oh, she knows that sound.
so
She knows that sound.
so Rebel is not smiling. Rebel don't know that sound. Play that again for one more time. Oh,
She
okay,
says she
okay.
do.
She said
She
yes,
do.
you do. She was just keeping it cool. She was. I feel you, Rebel. But no. But so here's the thing, though. What I've learned to do is because I know how to be polite and say all the right things in a conversation when meeting someone. But what I've learned to do is just lean into the parts of me that are most authentic. I'm very sexual. I'm expressive. I love humor. I have I think a great fucking sense of humor. Screw y'all. And so what I do is I lean into that right off the top. I go there in conversation. If I'm having a conversation with someone, I'm meeting someone, and and they seem to have an aversion to that conversation, I know that they're not for me. That could be happening to you, but the problem is that you might actually be that person, but you're not being true to that expression. Just because you talk about sex don't mean you have to have it. Just because you're flirting with someone doesn't mean that it has to lead to sex. And so you may be being turned off in conversations by their conversation about that. And I just think it's something that you should consider. Are you showing up and being your most authentic self? And are you talking about the things that you actually do have some feelings or some passions about? And because that's the person you want, the person to connect with those things that are real. Doesn't mean you have to engage in those things. And if you're not talking about a lot, but you say, but I want to just have regular conversation, but all of the things that are regular and perhaps mundane are off the table for you, like your job and that kind of thing. So I'm just, I don't know, until we actually dug into your actual correspondence with someone, which I think is what Chris was alluding to earlier when he was asking you to read something. He wanted you to literally read one of your messages. But
Oh, one of
yeah,
my
anyway.
messages.
Oh, you
I
feel?
thought
Oh,
you
do it.
no, I thought you were talking about my profile, like what I said on my profile. Like,
Yeah.
No,
Read
I
the
wanted to
messages,
hear
girl.
your interaction with a guy.
Yeah. and, and say it real soft when you do it.
Wes got real voyeuristic vibes right now.
Look, she gonna hide from that, Wes. She like, hell no, I'm a boss.
no.
Maybe you don't know what it does to me.
Come on, give it to us. Where's that? Where's that?
I don't know.
Look, she considering. Look at that. That's that considering. Which one should I read, face?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to read that one. She want to find the best one.
No,
that shows
because
her in the best light.
no, because half of them I deleted it. You know, it's a lot of them, but I deleted half of them.
There's a whole nother science to you deleting conversations.
There's somebody that you talk to that you like and you really hope for a relationship that you ain't delete that conversation.
There's nothing that you can get out of keeping a conversation, because here's what you don't learn. Mm-hmm. You don't learn about yourself if you delete the conversation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm through with him. I'm just delete it. You learn nothing. Like dating is more about learning about you than it is about finding a person. And the more you learn about yourself, the closer you get to actually finding the person that's for you.
Come on now, Evelyn. Read that. I'm hungry. I'm getting hungry here. Hold up.
We'll read one. We skipping it. Bye, Felicia. Yes. Evelyn, did you have a great week?
I got my bib on. I'm hungry. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
She done went through 45 messages. I'm not reading that one.
No,
you ain't reading
them. Bye, Felicia.
Okay, Evelyn. Here one. Okay, listen.
Here we go.
Okay, the guy said, "Hello, beautiful. Okay, how are you? How was your day?" I said, "Hi. How are you doing this afternoon?" And then I responded, "It was good. I just relaxed and chill."
Boring.
Then he
said, "Wait. So go back a minute. So you never responded to him. You just said hi. He said how he asked how was your day. You didn't have any conversation.
He said how was your afternoon, and I said it was good. I just relaxed and chill. And
she ignored the compliment. She glossed over the compliment.
The very first one. The very first one. He said hi, beautiful. Hello, beautiful.
And I said hi. How are you? What?
You didn't acknowledge his compliment. Listen, we already know hello, beautiful. Everybody says it. But what else do you want someone to say? But you can at least respond in kind and allow the conversation to grow. But at least acknowledge that man in that space.
You could have said two things. You could have said thank you for the compliment. Quote, or you could have said, "I'm wonderful, handsome. How are you?"
I do say that sometimes.
But you didn't say it this time.
No, I didn't. Okay. But I do say that sometimes.
So here's the thing. To me, it sounds like you literally just want to speed through the process, and you're not, again, like I said, you're not experiencing it. Hey, beautiful, how are you? You like, okay, I'm tired of that shit. All right, fine, hi. I'll just respond. Here I am again, going through it again. I'm just responding. I'm reacting, and I'm not responding. How do you actually feel in the exact moment? Are you just fine?
I don't like doing a lot of texting. I'll say, can we talk on the phone?
But you didn't.
So watch this. Here we go. Yeah, but if he says his introduction is hello, beautiful, your first response will be let me kind of help, right? Like, you love to talk on the phone. You know what? I would love to hear you say that in my ear as you call me. Touchdown! Like, you're on the phone already.
Motherfucking down.
You literally have scored. You're halfway to the date. Right?
Here's the thing: you don't have to use your number. You can use your profile these days. Like, you don't have to give out your number. Use your profile for that phone call. Because a lot of times people, I'm not gonna give everybody my fucking number. Right? Oh yeah. Use your profile. Use your profile. Make the call.
Use Instagram to call motherfuckers. But what happens is you engage in a you engaged in an activity that you don't like to do.
Indeed. And here's the other thing too. You know, I get that. So people have things to do, and for a guy, you got to remember there's somebody else on the other end of that. He might not be so ready to just jump on a call as well, right? But the way that you get quicker to the call, the part of it that you anticipate that you do like, is to at least respond in kind and reciprocate so that you can get to the phone call. So maybe he needs to feel comfortable too. So then it is, hello, handsome. I'm doing fine.
Like even when I
You
say
said what?
that, I may say handsome and everything, I still get to the call. I mean, he'll call me and we'll talk on the phone.
So you got something to say back to
By that
everything
time,
we say.
by that
Every
time,
every
have you
every
had
piece
that
of
monotone
advice,
conversation by that time?
Rob.
By the time y'all
Every
get on the
piece of
phone, y'all argue.
every single piece of advice that we've given you on this first interaction, you got something to say. You have not one time said, you know what? Okay, I'll consider that. You said I do that. I've heard I do that. I've heard I don't like talking on the phone. I've heard what's wrong with what I said. I've heard everything except, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that little bit, that little microcosm of is what I think they were saying is the overreaching point that a lot of the guys were saying. And so, are you agreeable? Are you an agreeable woman? That's important to men as well. So, in maybe in your mind and on your planet, you think you are, but on his planet, over here on Mars, we don't. You know, the way we communicate on Mars is different than Venus. And so, if everything that because Chris said something, I said something, Wes said something, Robert said something, and all of us had a response or a rebuke, not a response, had a rebuke or an excuse, as opposed to being agreeable. Agreeable works for men. So if a guy calls and says, "Hey, beautiful, good morning, how are you doing?" And we say, "Hold on, don't just say hi. Say more than that. Listen to what we're saying, and then take that. And then just in that little interaction that we're having with us, will transfer over to a better conversation with those guys. And those guys ain't gonna be quick to throw you in the friend zone. They're gonna be like, damn, I like how she talks to me. Because that's all really it is. All men really want is a woman to talk to him right. And he's like, damn, she talks to me different.
Nice.
I like how she speaks to me. She puts pep in my step. I'm excited to hear him get out. I can't do overtime today, man. I got to go see this girl, Evelyn. But I'm not excited to go see you if all I get is a hi. And I'm not excited to see you as if every time I say something to you, you got an excuse to what I said. So just take that into consideration. I don't want to speak, but I had to speak on this one.
And then even just giving, because they gave great examples, but there's another one that I respond to personally, and that's you can give a leading challenge. Well, if you want to get me on the phone, it's going to take more than hi, beautiful.
Ooh, don't challenge
That's
me,
already going to.
Oh no,
it's going.
I don't know.
It's a leading.
That could go either way though. That's a little
try to
dangerous
get me on the
though,
phone.
Chris. That sound like. Look, not Chris. Rob. That sound like that's a little dangerous though, man. When you go that way and you don't have the context, unless you're gonna put a bunch of emojis or a little winking emoji with it or something.
He gonna say,
you don't have the context for that voice, and that sound like an attitude.
Contentious.
It's gonna take more than that.
Well, I mean, but it depends
Get
on the
me on the
because I
phone.
feel like I can't. I feel like myself. I know for myself for sure. That sounds like a challenge. Okay, well, what is it gonna take? What do I gotta do to figure that out? You know, so I'm gonna accept that as a challenge, and I feel like I know some other people that really would accept that as a challenge. It's like, okay, it sounds like fun. It sounds like fun and games, especially if you can present it in a way that fun and games. And maybe it does take some emojis. Maybe it does take a LOL or a sticking your tongue out emoji or something. I don't know, but to me, it's like a challenge that I would be like, yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds like we're gonna be able to have back and forth banter and enjoy one another's conversation.
Evelyn, do you feel like you got some good feedback from the information we provided tonight?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Shit. Almost came out my nose, man.
Absolutely. I got a lot of feedback. It was good.
I'm sorry. I promise I'll behave. Okay. All right, I'm back.
Hey, Evelyn.
Yes.
Evelyn. Let me see. What year was it? I'm trying to think of the year. Jesus. Were you in
West.
Valdosta and
West.
Get a phone.
you know what? Okay, my
and
bad.
Rebel's been waiting for the whole time. Rebel.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Rebel.
And you,
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you
Rebel.
so much, Evelyn, for joining Ask a Black Man Anything. We appreciate you. You don't have to leave. You can stay right here on the show. And we're here every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you
Stay
check us
smiling
out
just
every
like that.
week. And you said you have more questions, so come back next week with your question for next week as well. Okay. So welcome, Rebel, to Ask a Black Man Anything. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate you so much.
Hey.
Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then give us your question.
Okay. Hi everybody. Good late evening. My name is Rebel. I'm from Jersey. I am a Spelman grad, even though I have a PV shirt on today because I rep all HBCUs wherever I go, but more than likely it's Spelman, but it's PV today. I am a lawyer by education, and yeah, I'm a cool chick. So my question is, what are the best and the worst attributes that you think that you have from your father or the father figure that you had growing up?
Damn. I can tell you.
And
I'm a testify. I was a hoe, and my daddy was a hoe, and my daddy's daddy was a hoe, and my daddy's daddy was a hoe. Praise the Lord.
Okay, so what about the best attributes? That's a worse.
I was a hoe.
You asked you asked the best? Oh,
Yes, the
okay.
best and the
Everybody,
worst.
forgive everything I just said. None of it was true.
No.
Let's reset. Oh, the best
The
attributes.
best and the worst.
Okay, well, I already handled the worst. Okay, the best attribute. Um, I think my best. I'm so much like my dad in a lot of ways. I would say that he really did love people, and he really did help people. My mother passed when I was 13, so it's there's a lot that I wish I would have had an opportunity to see in her and then recognize in myself. Although I do see some parts of me there, but I my empathy, as much as it may come from my mother, I did see a lot of that with my dad in the way that he showed up for people in the community and his students. He was a lifelong educator and football coach, and so he was somewhat of a pillar in the community in a lot of respects, and I watched him help a lot of people. Um, Not outwardly, not in ways that everyone else would see, but I definitely saw that, and I think I got that. I get a bit of that from him. Did I mention I was a hoe?
Man,
Yeah, you told me.
all right, I'll go next. So my biological father didn't raise me, so I was raised by my grandparents. Um, my grandfather has passed away now, but he taught me a lot while he was living. So I would say one of the best attributes I got from my grandfather was taught me the value of hard work. So don't go out here asking nobody for no handout. Don't go out here just trying to get it, get something free. You work hard for what you get. And don't go out here asking for no free sample, none of that stuff. But you go out here, you work hard, you do what you're supposed to do, treat people the way they're supposed to be treated, and when you go home at night, you can rest your head knowing that you gave it your best shot. And so I think I've actually taken it throughout my entire life. From my time as an early boy to becoming a man throughout my education experience. Never asked for any handouts. To a fault to a certain extent, sometimes where there may be situations or things where you may not have it, but it's like that pride thing where you can't bring yourself to ask somebody else for, because being taught the value of hard work, and so that's something that I continue to keep with me even in my work ethic today. Plenty of coworkers will tell you that I work hard, and one thing they can say about me is I'm dependable. You don't ever have to worry about me not doing what I say I'm going to do. If I say I'm going to do it, I try to be a man of my word, and I think as men, that's important to be men of our word. If you say you're going to do something, stick by it and actually do it. Don't just say you're going to do something and don't follow through with it, because it means a lot. I would say maybe one of the worst attribution is something that I actually has improved on a whole lot, but it did come from my grandfather. Was kind of like a people pleaser at first, and so my grandfather, he grew up, basically when slavery was real prevalent. And so my grandfather, he worked for a lot of white families, and so he worked hard. I always worked hard, tirelessly, always doing something for the white man. And secretly, he really didn't like the white man, but to provide for the family, he had to do what he had to do at that time. But it was kind of like a people pleasing phase, where I remember when I was going to school, going to college, my grandfather, at first, he wanted me to be an anesthesiologist. And, growing up, I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's what I want to do. But as I got older and I started getting in school and started finding myself a lot more, I realized that being an anesthesiologist is not what I wanted to do. And so I was actually going to school to be an anesthesiologist. Probably my first year of college, mid year, I realized that that's not for me. That's not what I want to do. And so I had a hard time at that time going to tell my grandfather, like, hey, that's not what I want to do. I want to do something else. Because I had always believed that that's what he wanted me to do. Because he had always said, when you grow up, you become an anesthesiologist, you take care of your grandma, take care of me, kind of give back. And, I always had that mindset in my head. So I was like, I don't want to disappoint my grandfather because he's done all this stuff for me. But it wasn't until maybe like I said, the mid-year of my first year of college, I sat down with my grandfather. I was like, hey, granddad, I just want you to know that, no, I don't want to be an anesthesiologist. I don't think that's the path that God has designed for me. But I actually want to go to school and major in psychology and go a little further with that, and one day become a clinical therapist. Set me down. He was like, son, I'm proud of you. That's what I want you to do. I said, I never wanted you to be an anesthesiologist because that's what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to be one because that's what I thought you wanted to be. And he was like, at the end of the day, whatever you decide you want to be, that's fine with me because that's what matters the most. And so after having that conversation with him, it freed myself and it freed my spirit to let me know that, hey, you don't have to go out here and do what you think people want you to do, but you can do what you need to do to be successful. So I would say those are the two qualities or attributes that I feel like I've gained from my grandfather: the value of hard work and always being a man of your word. Like I said, the worst quality would be sometimes being a people pleaser, but that's something that I've actually um, kind of improved on, and it doesn't affect me as much as it used to. And I'll land there.
For me, I'll say it's probably a gift and a curse. My father was the ultimate expression of love. Like, he was able to love me a certain way, able to love family a certain way. And what I learned I'll say through the men, because it wasn't just him, is I learned how to love people and how to give love and receive love, which is a gift to be able to express that, receive it, and have empathy for others and all that. The bad side to it was, relationally, I wasn't taught how to sustain relationships. I knew how to get relationships. I knew how to get love. I knew how to give love in a relationship. But to be able to sustain a relationship and keep that love going was something that I wasn't taught and that I'm still learning today. The result of that has ended up with plenty of women who have had their hearts broken by the love I was able to give, by the amount of love that they were able to give, the way that they were able to express themselves freely whenever they were able to feel comfortable with a person. And my inability to focus the love on one relationship ended up being a curse. So it's both one and the same: the ability to love and the ability not to be able to focus the love on one relationship and sustain that relationship through a marriage. That's it. Brothers up top.
Who's next?
Oh, we talking about feelings again. Shan might not say nothing, but we'll see what happens.
But I mean, it's not really feelings. I mean, it could be anything that you have gotten from, your father or your father figure. Any attribute that you feel as though is the best and the worst that you got from them. So not necessarily feelings, but if that's how you interpret it, I'm all for it.
Go ahead, Chris.
Shannon, I yield to you.
Go ahead. I'm over here on the controls. I'm flying the plane.
In the words of Dr.
Direction.
Martin Luther King, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was a home. No. So I did learn how to be a womanizer from my father. Like, yeah, I mean, I was really great at manipulating my words and manipulating people back in the day. I didn't grow up with my dad. He was around for up until 3, and then intermittently from 12 to 35, and then I reestablished my relationship with him at 35. What I did learn at 35 was that it was okay for a grown man to cry. Um, that I don't know if that's a best or worst attribute, what category that falls in. Um, I won't say if I don't know if it's the best attribute, but it's something that I learned. My dad according to him, has 9 children by 6 women. While I can say that he taught me to be the best father ever by being a terrible father to me. I have full custody of my 4 children. And so that's what I consider one of my best attributes, being a great father. I attribute that to him not being present for me, no matter what my mother did or did not do. Of course, my mother was also had some responsibility in the matter, but um, I learned how to try to be present in my kids' lives because he was not. I also was partially raised by my grandfather, like Jerron. My grandfather used to be a silent assassin. I didn't learn that. I learned how to speak up for myself after a good while. Worst attribute. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely say that, particularly in college, um, I ran through a lot of women from 18 to X age. I won't say what age it stopped at.
Last week.
Huh? What?
Did you put current or present on that application? Which one?
I just put X age. I just put X. 2 X's because it was after 18, after 9. No, seriously. That might be my answer, my best and my worst. I didn't learn like hard work from my dad. Um, Although, he did always have some type of income. My grandfather was retired by the time I was old enough to be around. So, yeah, I mean, that might be it for me. So, on you, Shan. Because I think you had a great relationship with your dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Not tonight though.
Okay. Well, Rebel, let me ask this question. What drove you to ask that question?
Because I feel like a lot of the questions that were asked today were relationship based. And I think that a lot of the things that we learn first are from the people that raised us. So asking you guys as men, like, what did you learn as men growing up, the good and the bad?
Okay, so I pose that same question to you, and then we'll end. We'll kind of land there. what are the best and worst attributes you learned from your mom?
Okay, so the best attributes that I learned from her was how to be a boss. So my mom has moved and shook in spaces that were not made for her, but she made a way. I was young going to business meetings with her, so she always taught me you know, how to work a room, how to get stuff done. If you want it, go out and get it. She's such a go getter, and I still admire her, even today. So I think that being a boss was the best attribute that I learned from her. And then I think that the worst attribute that I got from her was treating your career sometimes and your work more than your social life.
So being a
I
boss.
was well, I mean, I guess you could say that, but I was and still am very focused on making sure that anything that I want to do, that I do, and nobody gets in my way. So that could be a relationship, that could be whatever. If you are in the way of what I necessarily feel that I need to do, you gotta go. If you're messing up my focus or you're not supportive of what necessarily I need to do, even though I'm supportive of you and what you need to do, you gotta go. So I feel like I learned both of those things from my mom.
Was your mom married?
No, my mom wasn't married. She grew up in a married household though.
Are you an only child?
By her, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was just reading the room a little bit, just kind of getting a little greater understanding. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you giving us that feedback. You learn how to be a boss.
Y'all ain't diving in?
So
That's
I think
it.
Shan wants to dive in, but that's not my place. I don't speak for
Okay,
Shan.
well, Shannon, I'll ask you this question. What is the one thing that you love about your dad?
Oh man, one thing is I love. I think
Shan has had a great relationship with his dad before he passed away. So I think he said they used to talk every day. So he won't be able to name just one thing.
yeah, I can't name one.
Well,
Um,
name a couple then.
ooh, how to make money, how to um be charming to women, how to build physically. I know how to build. I build race cars. I build houses. I build. I'm a plumber. I'm an electrician. I'm a carpenter. I'm a mechanic. I'm my first business was building computers, Remicro PC, 1999. I sold that company. I learned all that from my dad. Um, Audiophile, how to to get electronics, everything that I know electronically, I learned from my father. That's just those. Um, how to uh, love your children. Oh man, how responsibility as how to spoil children, and then also create a, a situation of responsibility for them to appreciate what was given to them. So, like, because we had a little money growing up, so, but I didn't feel I didn't feel like it was just a pure silver spoon. It was like, yeah, you got that, but this is so I learned all that from my dad. I do that. So yeah, those just what was that 5, 6? I keep going. Almost there.
No, I
Well,
appreciate it.
let me ask this question for you, Rebel, real quick, because
Hmm.
it's asked about anything. Why is it important for you to be a boss? Why was that like? You said that was
I thought
a
y'all was
great
leaving it.
attribute. Why was that? Why was that like? Because you didn't talk about how she taught you how to be a great mom, right? How she loved you, things like that. You talked about how to be a boss.
Whoa. I think that you're conflating things because there's a lot of things, just like Shannon, that I love about my mother. I just appreciate that the fact that her being a black woman that was born in X decade, that was, raising a daughter that by herself, that created something that she didn't think was going to be as big as it was, all of the circumstances that she defied. I mean, that's admirable. Yes, she taught me to be a good mother if I want to have children. Yes, she taught me how to love, and she's very loving. I mean, what she does is basically love people. But the way that she was able to establish herself, that's something that I have to admire. The fact that I didn't mention it doesn't mean that she didn't do it.
No. So my question was, why was that the first thing that you mentioned? Why is that the most
because of the
important?
things that because of the things that I just said. She was a black woman that defied the odds.
What odds?
So she came from a very poor inner city. She was one of 6 children.
Yikes.
She was the first generation college graduate. She has a master's, she has a doctorate, she has a lot of degrees. She, again, raised her daughter by herself. Her daughter has 5 degrees. She she had a situation where she was disabled. She defied all of those odds and still made something of herself, even when people told her that she wasn't going to. So, how do you not admire somebody that does that? Somebody who graduated from 2 HBCUs. How do you not admire that? That is a boss. When you talk to somebody like Bernice King and you ask her about her mother, she's not going to say, "Oh yes, she was loving, she was this." No, she held things down. That's admirable. Yes, we're going to talk about all the lovey-dovey stuff because that's what people think that they're supposed to be talking about. Oh, it's a mother. She's supposed to talk about mothering and feelings, not about her being in a male-dominated field and dominating it. That's a boss. That's
I
what
was
makes my hero.
I've actually talked to Bernice King about her mom, and that is one of
I
the things
do.
that she said. She said she loves her mother for how she taught her, and how she loved her at home. But that's not to like try to attack what you said. Just that's been my
Oh no, I've
experience.
talked to her too. No, I've talked to her too, and in my experience, she always talks about how she held things down, whether it was being a mother or whatever. She still held stuff down. So, not to attack what you're saying either. Our
No,
experiences are
no,
just
I don't.
different.
I don't feel attacked. I think you know. I think I've come to the age and space where words don't attack me. Even when I feel attacked, I settle myself. So I choose not to be attacked. So, anyways, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
let me say
that.
one more thing, Chris, real quick. I hope that
Huh?
that
Uh,
I hope that all of us, including the ladies, like we take what it is that we've learned from our parents and we take that to the next step
oh
because
yeah.
and not just the next step like we think like I don't need to become more loving or the other big like I forgot all the rest of the examples. I'm just going with the one that's most recent, right? Where I need to be more the boss bitch, like or more not sorry, let me switch that. I need to be more the boss lady
Yeah,
or
we're
more the
gonna
boss.
change that. We're gonna change that
My bad.
dialogue.
I
We're
do
gonna change the
apologize.
dialogue.
I apologize. It's just phrasing, right? But to where we can take that to where we can use what it is that our parents have given us and bring that together to form community, bring that together to form healthy families. Because it all can work together. It just has to we just have to be able to build that and put it all together, make it gel so that we can grow as a community and grow as a family and our culture will grow, our numbers will grow, our finances will grow as a whole community. So take that and put it all together and I think we'd have a good society for ourselves.
Oh yeah, agreed.
I'm done, Chris. Go
Shannon,
ahead,
any
bro.
last comments?
Mm.
You said no.
No, no, no.
Okay, Rebel. How do you feel
Appreciate the love.
uh, in reference to the comments, the answers that you got to your question?
No, I love it. I love seeing men reflect on the men in their life, in the positive and even just noticing that they're human, because we sometimes look at our parents as superheroes growing up, that they're invincible, not realizing that they are flawed. So, having honest conversations about our parents, the good, and the bad. I loved it, and I appreciate you guys for being so honest and so authentic with that, with those answers.
I just like to say, my dad was invincible. Uh, he was a super hoe.
Did he
Wes
have a
get mad.
cape though?
Oh, he definitely have a cape
He
because
had
he
a
passed his
cape.
cape down to his son.
You know what? He might not have had a cape. How many siblings you got?
Uh, I got so it was six of us, and I do appreciate your story too. So it's six of us in the home, and then I had he had two other children outside before he was married. I think one of them.
Wes definitely has a cape.
Anyway,
It comes on every
but
weekend.
it resonated with me too what you when you were talking about your mom, because my mom, she battled cancer while raising six kids and getting her doctorate degree at the same time, while also teaching school. So
She taught you to
so
be a
hearing
boss,
that
B,
that
Wes.
Your mother is a hero. Straight
Mhm.
up. I'm just gonna
oh
tell you
yeah,
that. Your mother is a hero. And yes, amazing woman for all that.
yeah,
Mhm.
for sure, I appreciate that.
Last question, Rebel, are you single?
My
Am
dad,
I
but let me
single?
say, I made a joke about.
Yes. Yes.
Mud
Are you
wrestler.
single?
Mud wrestler.
Oh no, I was trying to go back to Wes's question because he said he wasn't done. But I'll come back to yours.
Okay. Go ahead,
He
Wes.
Oh,
said
I like
redirect.
that. Fight for me. Fight for me.
What?
He's an attorney. She
You know
fighting
No,
for
the
you,
no,
Wes.
really
attorney.
quick. No, I was gonna say though that no, my dad was an incredible man, regardless of his flaws, and I like to always uh, be accountable, especially for myself, because I like to first speak from my failures and my flaws. I think that's important. I think that's sometimes even more valuable than speaking from success and all the pretty things. But to Chris's question,
Appreciate that.
are you single?
Currently, yes, I am.
Ask her your next question, Wes.
Wait, we're not pimping me out like this. Hold on a second. Or do you like to mud wrestle?
Do I like to mud? Listen, there's a lot of things that I like to do in
Just
mud.
say, hey, ooh, okay, all right.
Okay.
Next
Well,
week, meet us here Thursday. We'll be having mud wrestling uh, on Ask a Black Man Anything.
mud wrestle
Okay.
challenge.
All
Okay.
right.
I just
Well,
wanna I
thank you
just wanna
guys so
know,
much.
like, are you coming like with the shorts or are you coming in with the speedo?
Oh,
I'm coming butt naked.
I won't be
Oh,
there.
that's how I like
The only
it. That's how
Oh my God.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Y'all better
Well,
not play
thank
with
you,
me on
ladies,
this
for joining
stage.
us tonight. We appreciate you both. If you have more questions, you always are welcome to come back next week, Thursday, to Ask a Black Man Anything. The same link that was sent out to you. If you have more questions, please join us. Invite your friends. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Ask a Black Man Anything. You all have an amazing night. Happy Friday.
Okay.
Long Myers Sellers. Oh, my leg is wrong.
Man, we might have to bring back mud wrestling.
I'm saying, yo, because they say they was with it.
Wes
There's a
said I
lot of
come
things
butt
they enjoy.
naked.
I'm gonna have to blow up my little kiddie pool and pull it back out.
They enjoy it all.
Yeah.
Oh, that is hilarious. Wes got all the
Great show,
ladies.
gentlemen.
Damn, that's not the better part of the last decade. God, that's rough right there.
Yeah, so you gotta. I'm learning to pick and choose my battles.
Picking and choosing and picking. Yo, I met a girl in from Valdosta, Georgia. Where was I? Was I in Atlanta? No. I was in Pensacola, Florida. And she was from Valdosta.
Do any of y'all have a pickup truck? A 4x4?
No, I plan on buying one next year though.
Okay.
Wes,
You know, Shan, if I had a pickup truck, Shan, if I had a pickup truck, Shan, I would drive to Valdosta, Georgia, and pick that woman up.
Wes, she lives in
I
Atlanta.
feel you, Sean. Would say?
You can go down to Valdosta and miss Evelyn. She live in Atlanta.
I'm just saying. I'm speaking of the Valdosta, Georgia young lady that I met years ago. Ago.
She don't live in Valdosta no more.
Oh my
God. Go down there and get a speeding ticket. All they do is sit outside with a laser. Hate going that way.
Yeah, I would absolutely speed to Valdosta in that pickup truck that Shan wants.
So what's up with Lauren McGregor, man? She been shouting you out in the chat like 15 times.
Can people shout me out, man? Can that be okay? Can people shout me out? Is that okay?
Man, what a diversion. You sound like a rebel. Diverting the questions. Wes, I'm just playing with you. You ain't gotta say nothing to me, man.
You're funny. Rob, you're quiet.
Yeah, I got a phone call real fast. I got a business call that just came through, so I'm handling that right quick.
Well, that's what we calling it these days, business.
Hey, man, business don't stop, my guy. Business don't stop.
Business call. Yeah, I like it. I like how you did that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get on a business call right about now. Discuss some mud wrestling business.